And we talked about the public speaking thing and how
Turn it
that
way.
is like the people's number one fear. But people fear being on stage really more than they do death itself. So these two ladies are going to tell us, and they're going to show us, how facing that fear actually helps them feel alive. Singing, playing instruments, rocking out in local bands and music programs. Please welcome Heather Yeager and April Katsafanas.
April and I have discussed the fear of being on stage, and we both agree speaking is a lot scarier than singing and playing. Might surprise a lot of people, but I think it's because talking is so natural that when you're speaking to somebody, your brain just sort of goes on, you can speak on autopilot and your brain can run processes in the background, and sometimes those processes can be kind of anxious and self-critical and self-conscious. But when you're playing music or doing any kind of art, like painting, dancing, I don't know, what other art there is, you have to lose yourself in the process. You have to immerse yourself in it. And your circuits are so occupied with all the different things that you're doing, especially if you're playing and singing an instrument at the same time, that there's really no room for the anxiety to creep in. You just sort of lose yourself. You get in the zone. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree. Yeah, for me, public speaking, you have to think on your feet. You have to visually engage, maybe try to add a little bit of humor. But with music, for me at least, you just can shut your eyes and go. You can get lost in a song and just put your mark on it. The words are already written for you, which is wonderful. And you can choose to make eye contact or not, or you can just close your eyes. And the only humor is maybe my toe tapping or dancing. So, when do you feel most nervous or fearful before a performance?
For me, it's getting everything ready. I was nervous all day today because I have a new little toy over there called a sound board or mix board, and I had no idea how to plug everything in, so cross your fingers. And I also find that a tequila shot about 15 more minutes before I go on stage really does help. Just one though, not more than one. And the worst part is usually introducing the band, which is I make April do it.
She does, it's true. But she did introduce me to the tequila trick, so that's helped.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, for me, it's like a half hour before the performance. I start getting the sweaty palms and my stomach gets all sick and I pace and all of that. And then usually 1 or 2 songs in, then I start feeling better, which makes this a little difficult since we only have 1 or 2 songs. So I don't hit my stride, but...
Right. So I'm sure people are wondering why we're doing this.
So, for me, I'll answer that. And I don't know if you want to do these.
Oh, yeah.
During that part.
Sorry, I forgot to do slides.
Music is universal. No age, gender, nationality. Everyone can connect to music in some way, shape, or form. And a little backstory. Growing up, my sister and I, we were singing all the time. Whether it be next to the record player or before going to bed, all those times we were always singing. And so then I joined choir in junior high, and that pretty much lasted for me all the way through college. And after college, about age 24, my dad bought me a guitar. And he said, for some reason, I think you will like this. And he didn't get a fancy one, just in case I didn't, but that's not the one I'm talking about, because that's kind of a fancy one.
That was obviously at her wedding.
Yeah. So I turned right around and went to the Old Town School of Folk Music and started taking classes. About 4 or 5 years I took classes there. I just fell in love immediately. And at the same time, I had a couple of my guy friends that lived in the city that also played. So we started practicing together, and we did some open mics, and then even started hitting a little bit of a stride and doing some corner bars where we played. And at that same time, I got pregnant and moved to the suburbs. Musical endeavors came to a quick halt. So then it was about 5 years that I wasn't doing anything. And motherhood is so wonderful for so many reasons, but you lose yourself. And I was a stay-at-home mom too, so I didn't have an identity through work or anything like that, and it was a little bit sad, but luck have it, those same guys that stayed in the city then also had kids and moved to the suburbs, so we started playing again, and all of a sudden a sense of self comes back again, a little bit of my former self, and just something that was just mine alone, away from the family. And then I moved into my childhood home next door to Heather, and she invited me to join her in garage band, university, which is right just next door.
Right next door.
And it was awesome, and music was back in my life. So, there's a lot of options for learning. If any of you maybe had music in your life in some way before and just not, gotten back into it, there's lessons, meetup groups, neighbors. It's easy. You can do it.
Absolutely. It's never too late. I'm a little 11 years older than her, so my path was a little different, but 10 years ago, my world drastically changed. I had 2 knee surgeries, so that ended my tennis career. The housing market crashed, and that curbed my house flipping business, and then my kids started leaving home. So all of a sudden, I had a huge void, and I got really depressed. So growing up, I was really involved in music, and I really, really missed it. So I started taking guitar lessons, and my guitar instructor kept urging me to sign up for Garage Band U and all these open mics and everything, and I kept saying, no, I'm not ready, because it's really hard to sing and play at the same time. And for me, usually one of the two suffers. So then, 2 friends of mine who were pretty much beginner musicians signed up for School of Rock in Hinsdale. And they started performing and posting things on Facebook. And I thought, well, they can do it. I can do it. So I put my big girl panties on, and I terrifyingly signed up for Garage Band U, once again right next door. And it was terrifying, but it was awesome. And I felt like, I was doing what I meant to do, to go back to what Nancy said earlier. When you're on the right path. So, and as to why, I think most people will agree that when you hear a song that you like, it probably stirs something really deep inside of you. And the only thing I can say about playing and singing music is that it's an even more intense feeling, and you just naturally want to share that joy, right?
Yeah.
And the nice thing about music is you can do it when you're old. You can do it forever, actually. And it's great, speaking of getting old, for keeping your brain healthy. And you can do it with your family and your friends, your kids, your cousins, at your lake house, sitting by the campfire. And if you're thinking, I could never play the guitar, you're wrong. If you can play 4 or 5 really easy chords, you can play a lot of songs, hundreds of songs, like the ones we're doing tonight, pretty much. You can play G, D, E, A minor, E minor, you can play almost any Eagles song. So we'd like to leave you kind of with this thought, and that is you must embrace change and reinvention. It's just a fact of life. Don't be a dinosaur. Change or die. You have to leave your comfort zone to grow, and it's scary. But in the end, the rewards far outweigh the fear, I'm telling you.
Well, we actually have a special surprise for you guys tonight. We have a special guest for our last song.
We're going to get
her out of her comfort
Yes,
zone.
come on, Cindy, get out of your comfort zone.
Hi, you guys, I didn't know we were gonna do this. Here, you take mine, since I'll take the one that's not working.
I'm just here for the tequila shot.
Or did you do that? You did that? Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful, wonderful world this would be. Don't know much about geography. Don't know much trigonometry. Don't know much about algebra. Don't know what a slide rule is for. But I do know 1 and 1 is 2. And if this one could be with you, what a wonderful, wonderful world this would be. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful world. Now I don't claim to be an A student, but I'm trying to be. I could win your love for me. Don't know much about the Middle Ages. Look at the pictures and I turn the pages. Don't know nothing about no rise and fall. Don't know nothing about nothing at all. But it's you that I've been thinking of. And if I could only win your love, what a wonderful, wonderful world this would be. What a wonderful, wonderful world this would be. What a wonderful, 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 wonderful world. What a wonderful, 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 wonderful world.
I looked for, go ahead, the School of Rock has a course coming, the next course coming up if anyone's interested. I think
They
November
don't-
2nd.
They don't have an adult
Or no,
program.
course of
Garage
Garage
Band
Band,
University.
right down there, like November 2nd. So,
And we'd be happy to answer any questions about that.
yeah, does anyone have any questions for the band? What's your band name? That's my question.
Oh, we don't have one. Okay, so
I have a name I'm saving for when I have my real band.
oh yeah, that's right. I'm just the interim. She
It's
gets a real
candy
band.
for breakfast. Because when I was a little kid, I asked my parents one time, "Can I have candy for breakfast?" And they said, "No." They said, "When you're a grown-up, you can do anything else, anything you want to do, but right now, no, you can't have candy for breakfast." So I said, "Well, I'm a grown-up. I'm gonna have candy for breakfast.
Yep.
I'm gonna be in a band."
Any other questions for the band?
So can we see you anywhere, play somewhere?
Well,
You get to answer that one.
yeah, okay.
Right now Heather is not in Garage Band U because she's got a trip coming,
Going to
but
India.
I will be performing November 10th at Tailgaters with the band, so.
What's your
Um,
band's name?
That, we don't know, it
Yes.
changes every session at Garage Band, so. Oh.
the guys you play with.
Oh, okay, well,
Friday.
Okay, and then there's another gig coming up Friday. I'm just doing 2 songs with Ara. They're an actual real good
Oh my
band.
God, I know
They're
them.
playing at Rally Doyle, and I'm gonna guitar play one song and sing one song. Mm-hmm. Well, the lead guitarist is a Hillcrest dad, and I'm a Hillcrest mom, and so we connected through our kids' elementary school. Yes, I know, so that's fun.
Aren't
But
they like hard rockers?
yeah, well, like Journey and REO
Gosh.
Speedwagon and all.
Sweet.
Yeah,
What are
it's
you
fun.
gonna wear?
I haven't picked my outfit yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll wear high boots that day. Yes. But then, yeah, I have 2 other guy friends that I play with once in a while, and we were called the Merge. Yeah, but no, I don't. November 10th is at Tailgaters in Bolingbrook, and it's during the day, so like
free.
2:30 in the afternoon. Family friendly, yeah. Free.
Oh, Rochelle.
What if we have, when it gets warm again, a summer outing of everyday eating, and you guys come back and play, because now I want to like party and have fun.
I love that idea.
We'd be honored.
That would be wonderful. We would be honored to do that.
We'll have more than 2 songs.
We could be the background.
Yeah. At Heather's house.
That'd be great.
Party at my house. I have the mixing board now.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you.